Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of the Deep-3 here with Scott Reichel. I'm aware of the fact that the past couple of days have not gone too well as we went 1-2 yesterday. Unfortunately, the Milwaukee Bucks money line at plus 120, I should say, did not work out as they ended up losing in double overtime, and I will blame that entire loss on Eric Bledsoe, but that's a separate story as Giannis ended up having 12 points and 23 rebounds as Lowry fouled out with 5 minutes left. A lot of stuff went down there, a lot of potential controversial calls at the end, but we will own up to it as we went 1-2 yesterday for a loss of roughly 0.98 units. It happens, but as some of you may know, Scott Steen will be back tomorrow. So if you are tired of seeing my face, you do not have to worry about that, as this will be the last day. I will be filling in for Scott Steen here on the Deep-3 as he will get back from his son's graduation. Having said that, we do believe that we do have some value here on this coming Monday. It's a very limited card, but we do believe there is some value in some select spots, which I will be sharing with you here at the very popular hour of about 2:41 in the morning. But we will start here with the first pick of the Deep-3, and we will be going with basketball. And the game everyone wants to talk about, we will be taking the Warriors minus 3.5 against the Portland Trail Blazers. Needless to say, Warriors are up 3-0, and they will be looking for a sweep. Portland in the last two games have blown double-digit leads in consecutive games, and then the Warriors absolutely blew them out in the second half. It seems like the Golden State Warriors just go on some type of run where the other team, regardless of who they're playing, just cannot stop them, and that has happened in the last couple of games. Unfortunately for Portland, that happened the entire second half, as they were held to roughly 33 points in the second half and were not able to generate anything, as Curry had another 36 points and Draymond Green had a triple-double. However, we think there's extra value on the Warriors here, who are shockingly favored by 3.5 on the road because of the injury to star player Damian Lillard for the Portland Trail Blazers. People have noticed that since the start of this series, Damian Lillard has pretty much been a no-show and he's vanished from the face of the earth. However, he has admitted to the fact that he's dealing with a serious rib injury, but he has decided to play through it. He'll probably need serious time to recover during the offseason, but he is playing, and Lillard said in a press conference before that the team can only win if he has a great game. Those are not the direct quotes, but that is basically the gist of what he said. He's not wrong because of the fact that Portland's supporting cast has done nothing the entire series, but Lillard admitting the fact that he needs to carry most of the load with an injured rib is definitely a sign of concern there. Not to mention the fact that Steph Curry, as I said before, so far this series in 3 games is averaging 36.3 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 6 assists. So the Trailblazers simply can't guard him, and I expect Golden State to close out this series in relatively ease as they end up winning this game. I would not be surprised to see Portland show up in the first quarter as they are facing elimination, but Portland supporting cast is simply just no match for Golden State, especially with the way that Draymond Green's been playing recently with the triple-double in the last game. I think Golden State minus 3.5 is the solid side, which is available at minus 110 on UWager. Warriors are also 4-1 ATS in their last 5 conference final games, and the Trailblazers, despite being very solid at home, straight up in the regular season, are currently 1-4 ATS in their last 5 home games. Overall, I think Portland is outmatched. The supporting cast has no way of competing against Golden State's, and I think that the Warriors will be able to coast to a pretty easy victory of at least 8 points, as they will look to blow out the Trailblazers and get some needed rest before the NBA Finals. So we will be leaning to the Golden State Warriors minus 3.5, which is available at minus 110 on UWager. Moving in to the second play of the day, we will actually be looking towards a run line in baseball, as we will be looking at the Yankees minus 1.5 as they take on the Baltimore Orioles. The best available line is currently at minus 115, which is available at Pinnacle. The New York Yankees will be using J.A. Happ, who is 3-3 with a 4.44 ERA, while the Baltimore Orioles will be using Andrew Kashner, who is 4-2 with a 4.10 ERA. However, Baltimore has the 8th lowest on base percentage versus the lefties in the entire league, and the Yankees have the 4th highest on base percentage on the road this season. So the Yankees have actually done really well at getting on base away from home, and the Yankees are coming off a very solid offensive performance in which they scored 13 runs against the Tampa Bay Rays in a game that propelled them to a first-place spot in the AL East. The Yankees at -1.5 is available at -115 at Pinnacle. We think that that's justified, as the Yankees did just sweep a 2-game series against Baltimore, and they won both those games by at least 2 runs. It was a 2-game series because one of the games got rained out and will be made up in roughly August. But at the same point, Baltimore has been terrible. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. They just got blown out 10-0 yesterday against the Indians, where the Yankees have won 5 out of 6, and they swept the Orioles last week. Plus, the Yankees are actually getting surprisingly healthier, as starting center fielder Andrew Hicks is officially back, and he scored a couple runs yesterday in a solid performance. Not to mention the fact that he is a tremendous fielder, and he's a borderline Gold Glove contender if he didn't have to deal with Kiermaier as well as Jackie Bradley Jr. for Boston. So Hicks might have a Gold Glove by now if he didn't have to deal with those two, but he has the ability to save runs in the outfield, not to mention the fact that the Yankees have been rolling. Orioles have lost 5 out of 6, and the Yankees on the road getting a guaranteed 9 at-bats should be able to cover this 1.5 spread. And we believe that the Yankees -1.5 are the right side here at -114 on Pinnacle. -115, I should say, as the line has changed since the recording of this video. So that will be the second play of the day. The third play will be on the Minnesota Twins -1.5 on the run line. Unfortunately, there is no line out for that, but we will be taking it anyway. A Storm Chaser, I will be getting into that game. Just to clarify, Storm Chaser, you were talking about the Bucks-Raptors game. Is that what you're talking about? Just to make sure, I believe that's the game you're talking about, but just comment below or comment in the comment section right now on the live stream if that is the game you're referring to, because I think I know exactly what you're talking about. But we will be going with the Minnesota Twins -1.5 here. Minnesota will be using Jake Odorizzi, who is 6-2 with a 2.63 ERA, while the Angels will be using Taylor Cole, who is 0-0 with a 4.91 ERA. Minnesota has the second highest on-base percentage on the road this season, as this team has been very solid. And the Twins have actually been rolling with Odorizzi on the mound, as they have won Odorizzi's last 6 starts. The Twins batters are also batting a very solid 0.667 lifetime against Cole. Twins have been doing really well against against Cole. So the Twins batters have a solid lineup, and we believe the Twins will be the right side on the road here. Twins are also 4-0 in their last 4 road games versus a right-handed starter. The Twins are also 7-1 in their last 8 after allowing 5 or more runs in the previous game. Meanwhile, the Angels are 2-5 in their last 7 after scoring 2 runs or less in their previous game. And the Angels are 8-18 in their last 26 home games versus a team with a road winning percentage of greater than 60%. We simply think the Twins are the solid team here, and we think that the Twins lineup should be able to get to Cole relatively easily. Odorizzi, if I'm going to be honest, I've never been a big fan of his, but the Twins have won his last 6 starts, and he has been fantastic this season. So perhaps I've been wrong about Odorizzi over his young career, and we think that the Twins -1.5 is the right side, as the Twins lineup has done really well in recent games despite dropping the last game on Sunday against the Mariners, I should say. And we will be siding with the Twins -1.5 as the last pick of the Deep-3. However, we will be addressing quickly, as Storm Chaser wants to talk about, the Bucks and the Raptors game. Overall, I mentioned it on my Twitter, I really do not know how the Bucks lost that game. Giannis only had 12 points. He did have 23 rebounds. I blame the entire loss on Eric Bledsoe. I know you can argue Middleton was awful, and he was, but at the same point, he did hit the game-tying layup at the end of regulation. I don't really understand why Budenholzer used Bledsoe at the end of regulation. I thought Coddington should have gotten more minutes after the third quarter. He was 3 for 3 for 7 points, and yet he just didn't play for the last 20 minutes of game time, give or take. For me, I think the Bucks will definitely dominate Game 4. Lowry got injured. Lowry got fouled out. Leonard got injured, and yet somehow the Bucks did not find a way to win. I thought Eric Bledsoe might have the lowest IQ in all of basketball, but at the same point, it is what it is. The Bucks we did have at plus 120. They lost in double overtime. It happens, but either or. Storm Chaser, I used to believe that the NBA was fixed, and I definitely thought there were a couple of questionable calls. I remember the one dagger 3 was on the Gasol 3-pointer, which happened right after the fact that I thought the ball went off of Gasol out of bounds, but they called it off Lopez. It happens. It is what it is, but we will look to bounce back here on the last day that I will be involved in the Deep 3 before Scott Steen comes back here on Monday, May 20th. Overall, in terms of Lillard, Dirty wants to know how many points I think Lillard will put up. He definitely has made it seem like he will be putting a more assorted effort into, into carrying the team, as he said in his press conference. But that injured rib for me is a very big concern. I think Lillard will take enough shots to put up roughly 30 points, but at the same point, I don't think he'll be very efficient. In terms of where I think Lillard will put up, I think he'll put up 27 points, give or take. I think the Warriors will win. I think Lillard will try his best to will his team to a victory, but at the same point, he's still dealing with a rib injury, and the Warriors have simply been too much to handle for the Trailblazers, so we think the Warriors will be able to cover that 3.5. But the 3 plays, as we said before, on the Deep 3 here on Monday, May 20th, will be on Golden State minus 3.5, which is available at minus 110 on UWager. The Twins minus 1.5, which there is no line available, but it should come out as plus money. And the New York Yankees at minus 1.5, which is available at minus 115 at Pinnacle. Now, before we conclude this video, we will be talking about the deals available at PointsBet, which is our sponsor, New Jersey sportsbook that's available online. As I said before, the PointsBet book allows you to get 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000 each. So if you bet on the game and you lose, you get your money back. The NBA playoffs, if the team you bet on a money line is winning after 3 quarters, you win. So if you end up having money on Toronto, you don't have to sweat it out in double overtime. You'll be able to cash after 3 quarters. And the NHL playoffs, if your team is up by 2 goals, you win, and you don't have to worry about sweating it out in a potential third quarter cover. Either or, those are going to be the plays for the Deep 3 here on winnersandwhiners.com on May 20th. If you are interested in following me personally on my, whether it's Twitter or whether it is the StatSalt page here, I'm posting my Twitter in the comment section here. But if you want to follow my tennis picks, which I did upload already, or my StatSalt analysis on the rest of the games today, then you can follow statsalt.com or StatSalt on YouTube. I'm aware that these last couple of days have not gone well for us as we've looked to be profitable, but we have gone 1-5 in the last 2 days. I'm willing to admit it. It has not been the greatest day. The Bucks did not cover as the plus 120 underdog in double overtime. It happens. But with that being said, if you do not want to see me again, I will be gone from Winners and Whiners following tomorrow. But if you are interested in my breakdowns, and I know the results haven't paid off, we believe the analysis has been solid, and we think that it should balance out relatively shortly. So with that being said, you can follow me on StatSalt at YouTube or on my Twitter link that I posted below. With that being said, that'll do it for this installment of the Deep 3 here on Monday, May 20th. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets. Bye, everyone.